Welcome to Free Tutorial TV and a tutorial about the PyQt6 course. In this lesson, we are going to learn about QRadioButton. So QRadioButton is an option button that can be switched on. It means checked or off. It means unchecked. Radio buttons typically presents the users with one of many choices. Now in a group of radio buttons, only one radio button at a time can be checked up if the user selects another button. The previously selected button is switched off. There are different methods that you can use in radio button class. For example, we have isChecked and it returns a boolean value of true if the buttons in a selected state. Or we have section that we can add icon for the radio button also. setText, which is used for setting the text on the radio button. Also, there are different signals that you can use. For example, we have toggle signals, which is used whenever the radio button changes its stats from checked to unchecked and vice versa. And also we have click signal, and then this signal is emitted when a button is activated, it pressed or released, or it can shortcut key is pressed. Also we have state change signal, and this signal is emitted when the radio button changes its state from check to uncheck or vice versa. Now let's create an example of radio button. Let's create a Python file, and we are going to create our radio button in here. We just call it radio button examples, and I'm going to just paste my window code. So this is a simple window. Change it to QRadioButton, and so you can see these are all imports, and this is our class window. We have width and height. Let's have width and height, for example 300 by 200, like this. And if I run this, you will see that I have a simple GUI window. Let's create our radio button. So first, QRadioButton class is related to QWidgets also, so we need to import that. We are going to use a QHbox layout, and we will use QLabel. So let me just add this in here. After this, now I'm going to create a new method, so I can just say create radio, or let me just def create underscore radio self. So first we need to create the objects of the QHbox layout, and after creating of this, we are going to radio button create. So I am going to just call it radio button, and after that you need to give the text. For example, I'm going to give it as a Python. So now let's add this radio button to hbox layout, hbox dot add widgets, and we want to add our radio button 1. So let's call this method in here called self dot create underscore radio. And if I run this, you we are not able to see the radio button because we need to set the main layout. So self dot set layout to the hbox layout. Now run this, you will be able to see a radio button is. We can add some features to this radio button. For example, we can add an icon, we can set the phone. Let's just add an icon. So in here I can just say red1 dot set icon, and we are going to just use q icon in here. So I have already added some icons in my image folder, so it's Java, JavaScript, and also Python. I'm going to use that. So first in the image folder, so give the path as py.png, and let's run this. So you can see that we have a, so let's have change the font size of the radio button, also the icon size. Just say red1 dot set icon size, and we can need to use the q size in here. So first we need to import the q size from the qt core module. So we need to import the q size module. So we are going to import the q size, and that can be defined, example 40 by 40 as a queue size. So you can see the size of the icon, so you can see it looking much better. So let's change the font size, for red one dot set font, and we can use q font. And then we need to import the q font in here, so I can just say q font, and now in here we can just say the q font, and then set we need to add the family of the font, so that should be at times, and that is the size. So run this, and you can see that we have an icons and also the text of the radio button. For example, you can just check it, you can do that. You can just use, for example, red one dot set check and make this to true. So set check true, though let's create another radio button in here, and then it will be radio button 2. So this should be radio button 2, and this time it should be as Java. So let's should be radian 2, and then it time should be we make it Java, and then the set icon to java dot png. So I don't want it to should be checked, so you can remove that. And if you run this, you will be seeing here we need to add this to the layout also. So hbox dot widget, and we want to add our add button 2, and you can see that. So there is a Java and a Python. So let's just one more add radio button. So like you can have radio button 3, so this should be rad 3, change it to 3. And then for example JavaScript, and then set it that to javascript.png, and then you need to add the hbox dot to add widget that red 3. Okay, so run this, you will be able to see here. We have a 3 radio button now, and you can see it checked by default the Python. Let's have our signal and slot functionality. For example, when I choose one radio button, I want to change the level, so and then text of the level. So for that we need to create a level in here. So I can just create in here that I can set self dot level equal to q level, and in here I'm going to just add a text in here. So for example, hello, and I can set the phone, so self dot level dot set phone, and then you can use q font, and I'm going to just use another family of the phone, say sans serif, and size 15. So I want to add this in the vertical box layout. So let's first import the v box layout at the top. Here you just instead of, yeah, here you can add q v box layout, and after importing the q box layout, now we can create our v box layout object. And now let's add the v box layout and this level to the v box layout. Okay, so v box dot adds widget, and we want to add our self dot level. Also I am going to add my this box layout to this v box layout. So v box dot add layout and hbox layout. So here it will be changed the main layout to v box layout. Okay, if we run this, now everything is here, radio button, and then text level, and then the v box. So I'm going to just remove this hello text from here. Okay, let's create our method in here. So let me just come down, let me create a method. So def radio underscore selected, that is self. First we need to get the value from the radio button, so there is a method called sender, you can use that. So you can just do radio underscore button equal to self dot sender, And after this, now we can check if the radio button dot is checked. So the radio button is set. Then we are going to change our level text. So self dot level dot set text, and I can say you have selected. Okay, so here dot format, here radio button dot text. So what kind of radio button? Let's add this radio underscore selected to the radio button. So first I need to use this in here. Dot radio button, we have another signal, and that is called toggle. Now if you remember, in the push button there was a click, but in the radio button we have click signals, or we have set 10 shade click, and also toggle signal. And here we are going to use toggle. So toggle dot connect and self dot radio underscore selected, and let's just copy this. And for radian 2 you have to use, okay, and paste it for radio button 3 also, 3. So now let's change this. Now we choose Java. So you have selected Java. Python, you have selected Python. And JavaScript, you have selected JavaScript. So now in this we will can create this QRadio button from the Qt designer. So in the Qt designer, and this time I'm going to just create a dialog based window. So let's create an this is a simple GUI window. Now first of all I need add a level, so I can just come down and grab a level in here, and I can change this to example select flight type. Okay, and we can just make it bigger. Also let's change the font size. So from here I can just change this. For example, you can just 16 bold, and whatever it's right. So I think this could be okay. So let's have our radio button, and if you see, we should have the radio button in here. Say grab one, and this second one, and third one, and third one. Let's change this to, for example, first class, and I just give it, for example, $150 USD. Change the size and select 12 bold. Okay, so similarly you can do for second radio button, and this should be business class, and we can give it, for example, $120. Again, change this to 12 volt. And third, let's do the third one is the economy class, or economy, and we can just give it, for example, $100. Change this to 12 volt, and let's make it like this a little bit. Okay, 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 now it's looking good. So let's also add another level here. For result, I can just change the text to, for example, 14, and you can just make an italic like this. Now let's add some style. for this. So you can just give that, for example, every style for your specific widget. For example, I can just change the style sheet in here, so it will affect just this level. You can add a global, for example, for main dialect. So you can just try into the window and change the style sheet. So first I'm going to give a background color to the Q dialog. So I can just say background color, and I should be yellow. So apply this Q label color, green, color green. See this? So now we are able to change that to the green color. Okay. Now let's add our layout management. So right now, if I preview this, yeah, this is all designed, but it's not looking good because now you can see that we don't have any layout management. For this, let me choose these three and put a layout to vertical layout. And also I want to the choose these three, and I can just make the layout to horizontal. Oh no, not horizontal, sorry, vertically. Can select vertically. And for the main window, we want to choose should be vertically. So let's preview this. Wow. So now we have a nice layout management. And let's remove this label to the text first. So I need to change this to the object name to result. And I'm not going to change this radio button name. So this radio button 1, 2 and 3. Even if you can change this, for example, you can make this the first, and this has to be business, and this should be economy, like this. So let's save this, and I can just save this in my PyCharm project in here. Okay, and I can just give it, for example, flight demo, and let's save this. Now I should see the flight time demo here. Now let's convert this .ui file to .py file. So we have already learned that how you can do that. For we can just say we need to give the name pyy6. Okay, so flight demo .ui, and after that we want the output -o, and it should be flight demo .py. And now it changed flight demo.py. Run this, you can see that we have already have a flight demo, and I haven't removed this text level text. Can guys remove first? So I need to change this Q dialog because we are using by default. So Q designer is using the Q object, so we can just change this dot Q widget. We want to import Q dialog, and we can just use this Q dialog in here. And also let me just, if I find the level and the level, the result, and I think should be here, level result. And I can just remove this from here. Run this, see that there is no text file. And now let's add the event handling functionality. So in here I'm going to just create a method. So just say radio that select tag self, and now first we need to get the value from the value radio button, so we can just use self.sender. After that we can check if radio button is checked. And if so, this is the case, we are going to just give the change the level text. So result dot set text, and you can just say you have selected dot format. uh, we can have a radio button dot text. Let's connect this radio selector slot or method to the toggle signal, and this is my radio button list. So I can just self dot radio button first dot toggle dot clicked self dot radio selected, and same second one. So radio dot self dot radio button business dot toggle dot clicked dot connect, and then self radio selected, the last radio button. So self dot radio button echo dot toggle dot connect, and self dot radio selected. So now let's run. So we have an error, I think. Yeah, has no attribute click, so I think we have made a mistake somewhere here. That's click, it should not be click, it should be connect. Sorry for this. So now connect, if I choose this, you can see that you have selected this class, and you have selected business class, and you have selected economic class. Okay, the same in this lesson we are going to learn how we can group QRadioButton, and let's open our Q designer, and we are going to complete our design. So just let's go to the Qt6 application after the Qt bin, and here we have our designer. Now let's open the designer, and then in here I'm going to create a dialog button. Just let me click on the create. So this is my dialog window, and here I'm going to make it a little bigger like this, and I'm going to add a Q label. So let me just add a Q label. From here I'm going to change the object name, but I want to change size to, for example, 14 volts like this, and I'm going to change the text to, for example, choose your book. So this is my first level. After that we need to add 3 radio button, so I can just find the radio button in here. So we should, this is the first one, and first I need to change the, this is this to, for example, 14 be correct, and I'm going to change the name to, for example, the object name radio button underscore py, and the change is Python. For example, we can just add copy, we want for Java. Okay, and let's change the object name to Java, and also we want for JavaScript, so change to JavaScript, for example, JS. After that we are going to create another Q level in here. choose your payment method, and we are not going to change the object name for this level, but we want to change the text to bold text, like, and add Q button in here. So the first one, I'm going to change it to debit or credit. And let's change the Q font size to 12, or we can say 14. And also we need to change the object name to a radio button. For example, the the and we need another radio button in here. So, and we just make this, for example, PayPal. And let's change the object name to underscore PayPal, and also the third one as, for example, cash. And let's change these to cash. Okay, so after this, let's add our layout. So I'm choosing this tree, and just I want to make it layout, and layout vertical. Okay, we can just grab it in here. Also, I am going to change, just choose this tree, and we can just make the layout vertically. Let's add another level in here for the result. So let me just change the object name to result, and we can change the font to, for example, 12 volt. Okay, and also we change the color, just style sheet. I can just target Q level, and I can add color of purple. And if I view this preview, this is our design. I can see that we choose two radio button. After that, let me just remove. We are going to save this, so we can just click on save. After that, we need to find your project. So this is my Python project, so PyQt tutorial. And the part 2 we just add radio demo, and let's save this now. And now we are Python IDE, find that, and you can see that we have radio demo. And let's convert it to .py66, and then minus x radio demo dot ui minus o and radio demo dot py. And now we should be seeing radio demo dot py in here. Now if I run this, yeah, okay, you can see that you can select our radio button in here. Now let's have our signal and slot functionality. So just come down here, and we are going to create a new method, call it def radio selected self. And first thing is that we need to create two variable, select one to an empty string. And so select two equal to an empty string. After that, we are going to check that if radio self dot radio button underscore pi is checked. So it is true. We are going to just say select one to Python, and same. So we want to do the same for the rest of the Q button. So here we can just select, and this for example Java. So you can change this to Java, and now for another one, then I'm going to just paste it in here, and this time if this is JavaScript, so we can just change it to JavaScript, and let's check out design. Okay, let's check out design, and this is the object. So now let's do this for our payment method, and if the radio is, so the first one is PayPal, but it is debit card, DB, say debit or credit card. And another one is PayPal, checked. So change selected mm, PayPal, and we have another case of cash, the radio button cash, and then you can select one cash. Yeah, this should be selected too. We need to change selected to. Now let's add our result in our Q level. So we can just say self dollar level underscore result dot set text. Say I can just, for example, chosen book plus selected one plus and the chosen payment method, and we can just add another one that is selected two. Okay, after this we need to connect our this method, this radio selected, to the toggle signal of the Q radio button. So now we can just add our radio button dot py file, and let's just say our signal connection, and I can just say self dot radio button dot py dot toggle dot connect self dot radio underscore selected, and we want to just copy this. Let's copy this comment also. So we have Java, and we can change this to Java, and let's come down. We have JS, and all the payment method is DB. Let's come down and set PayPal. So this to cash. The last one is the cash. So change this to cash. Now our coding is completed, and let's run this. So choose Python, chosen book version, the payment method is also displayed. Now let's add some space. I think here. Let's run once again. Yeah, chosen book Python and chosen payment cash. So change JavaScript, PayPal, Okay, so with this, I'm ending up the tutorial. So it is all about QRadioButton. So create you can create the QRadioButtons in three different ways. So this all about the QRadioButton. So hope you like this video. Have a nice time.